Today, let's take some time to study the Word of God together. On earth, there isn't much difference between countries in the way one gains their citizenship. However, the manner in which one gains their heavenly citizenship is much different from that of our earthly one. The privileges and benefits that are associated with the heavenly citizenship cannot be treated as something insignificant. Ultimately, what will God grant us once we gain our heavenly citizenship and go there? There will be no more death, no more mourning, no more pain, nor sickness any longer. Doesn't God grant us eternal blessing, eternal happiness, and overwhelming joy through having a heavenly citizenship? In Jeremiah 31, God clearly described what kind of people can be God's people who have the heavenly citizenship. They are those who have the new covenant in their hearts. The prophet Isaiah said that those who have the law of God in their heart are God's people. Let's confirm by going to the book of Isaiah. When you go to Isaiah chapter 51, verse 7, it says, "Hear me, you who know what is right. You people who have my law in your hearts, do not fear the reproach of men, or be terrified by their insults. For the moth will eat them up like a garment, the worm will devour them like wool. But my righteousness will last forever, my salvation through all generations." People who have the law of God in their hearts, here God says to them, do not be dismayed and terrified by people's insults and remarks. Don't you remember what kind of citizenship you have? The heavenly citizenship is far greater than any citizenship that a person could obtain among the people living on earth. Isn't this the reason that 2,000 years ago, Jesus came to earth to let us know about the heavenly citizenship through the Passover of the New Covenant? Let us look into this further by going to Luke chapter 22. When you go to Luke chapter 22, verse 7, it reads, "Then came the day of unleavened bread, on which the Passover lamb had to be sacrificed. Jesus sent Peter and John, saying, 'Go and make preparations for us to eat the Passover.'" Let's go down to verse 19. It says, "And he took bread, gave thanks and broke it, and gave it to them, saying, 'This is my body given for you. Do this in remembrance of me.' In the same way, after the supper, he took the cup, saying, 'The cup contained the Passover wine. This cup is the new covenant in my blood. For whom was the new covenant established, which is poured out for you?' On the day we were expelled from heaven to this earth, we, sinners, lost all our rights as heavenly citizens. The same penalty is given to criminals on earth. However, through the ceremony in Luke chapter 22, verse 19, what did God allow the sinners who were expelled from heaven to receive once again? The holy ceremony of the Passover of the New Covenant not only allows us to receive the forgiveness of sins, but also restores our heavenly citizenship. Thus, it says in verse 20, "In the same way, after the supper, he took the cup, saying, 'This cup is the new covenant in my blood, which is poured out for you.'" Since God says, "I will be your God, and you will be my people, because I put my covenant and law in your heart," we should realize the great promise hidden in the truth of the new covenant, which restores our heavenly citizenship. Let us remember God's grace of leading us to heaven by granting us the heavenly citizenship as the holy people of God. Hoping that we will do our best to preach the way of truth to everyone with obedience. I would like to conclude today's sermon. Thank you very much.